Hello and happy International Women in Engineering Day. My name is Caroline Milton. I'm the owner of Milton Coaching Collective, and I'm also a woman in engineering. 11 years ago, I graduated with my degree in biomedical engineering from Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology in Terre Haute, Indiana. Now, if you're not familiar with Rose-Hulman, I don't blame you. It's a very small engineering school, and up until 1995, it was exclusively a male-only engineering school. So while the female engineers from Rose-Hulman aren't quite as plentiful, they are still so well represented in the field of engineering, accomplishing things across all disciplines and touching nearly every area and every industry here in the United States. I'm so proud to be an engineer. Even though I don't work directly in engineering today, it's my background as an engineer that has truly set me up for success and set me down the path I'm on today. You see, engineers, we're natural problem solvers. We see a problem and we immediately want to get to the root of it, and we want to create solutions around it. This isn't exclusive to just a hetero male outlook. It is inclusive of all genders. It's inclusive of all identities. And engineering truly should be accessible for everyone. I want to tell you a story that occurred earlier this year. I was attending a high school engineering fair at one of our local high schools here in Kansas City. And after our interviews with these high school students, one of my fellow peers, Rebecca Kidwell, who's also the president of Geeks for Kids, a nonprofit, a STEM nonprofit here in the Kansas City community, she and I were chatting with the director of this program. And we remarked on how few young girls were in the room throughout the morning. And every young girl who walked in immediately bolted to the women in the room. And we were asked a lot of questions around what it meant to be a woman in engineering and what sort of obstacles girls and women face in the engineering field. And we made sure to be as truthful and as transparent of those difficulties as we had those conversations. So we asked this engineering professor, this director of the engineering program, why there were such low representation in the numbers of girls in that program. And he said, I feel like I'm banging my head against the wall trying to get girls engaged. And I truly think there is a genetic difference in what people are attracted to. I think boys are just more likely to be attracted to engineering. Now, I heard that, and he said it very, very kindly, but I got pretty angry internally. I was full of rage hearing that, but externally, I maintained my calm. I took a deep breath, and I said to him, if you want to engage more girls in engineering at a young age, show them that they can solve any problem. Anything that they're interested in, but they're frustrated by, they can solve that problem. Interested in makeup, but frustrated by the makeup that you have, maybe you want to become a chemical engineer and work specifically on makeup someday. You could design new makeup brands for the Kardashians, and your love of makeup could inform that. I used to play with my Barbies by rolling up towels in my bedroom floor and laying out floor plans for those Barbies. I should have perhaps become an architectural engineer. There were things that I loved to do that maybe there would be a way of expressing that identity through engineering. My own journey to engineering started when I was in 7th grade, and I attended a girls' engineering camp at Purdue University in West Lafayette, Indiana. It was at that girls' engineering camp where I was introduced to biomedical engineering. We toured a local med device company, and during that tour, we were able to see and feel and touch heart stents. It was the first time I realized that my passion for helping improve the lives of other people could be done through engineering. And it was just 6 years later that I stepped foot at Rose-Hulman to pursue my career in biomedical engineering. It's true. As women, we want to help other people. As women, we want to solve problems. As women, we want to alleviate the burden and the pain that others are experiencing. And we can do that through engineering. It's all about how we have that conversation with young girls. Now, I want to shift into the retention of women in engineering because I think this is something that we need to be taking seriously across industry. You see, 4 out of every 10 women are leaving the engineering field by the 12-year mark of their career. Now, that does coincide with when people are starting to have families. We have to ask ourselves the question of why. It's not that women are losing engagement or passion for the things that they're doing, but perhaps it's a result of the lack of support that exists for women at that stage of their career. There aren't a lot of role models for them to look up to. There isn't a lot of flexibility in how to continue to promote and gain new skills, acquire new skills through career at that stage of the career. And so women leave the industry, they pivot or they take a break. And we need to be sure that we're doing something to improve these statistics because we are already wildly underrepresented in engineering. And then with the exodus of women at that stage of the career, only continuing to be rarely represented at the higher levels of business. So what do we do? As organizations, we need to ensure that we are creating psychological safety for all employees, regardless of gender, regardless of identity, regardless of race, regardless of ability, that we're seeking true inclusion. We have to continuously address our biases, recognize where they might exist, provide social support to every employee. That includes our women, our men, and all gender identities between and beyond those identities. We have to ensure that our workplace culture is one in which women feel safe, in which they feel supported, in which they feel that they're recognized for their competence. This is truly how we move the mark. We have to be respectful and supportive of all of our employees, regardless of what they look like, regardless of what they think, regardless of where they come from. We have to continue to address our workplace culture and how we support employees in order to continue to see a growth of women in engineering at every stage of career. I believe in this vision. I believe in this future. That's why I started Milton Coaching Collective, to be a part of that solution. You see, as an engineer, I saw a problem and I wanted to be able to cultivate the solution. And so I'm on a mission to ensure that women in STEM are represented at every stage of their career through how we shift and approach our workplace. And we do that through burnout prevention and change management. If you'd like to learn more about services that support both the individual and the organization, please visit miltoncc.com, or you can DM me here and we can chat about what it will take for you to truly become a workplace in which the careers of women in STEM are supported.